I'm going to talk about my Juki sewing machine today and do a review on it. It's a Juki TL 2010Q. So this is loosely connected with sashiko because I make my sashiko often into quilts, and if you make anything, quilts, bags, anything like that, you obviously do need a sewing machine. So this machine takes very large cotton reels to sew with, or the small ones. The bobbin winder is here on the top. It's pretty simple to operate and it winds nice and evenly. The stitch control is here. I usually do on about 2 when I'm doing regular sewing. If I'm sewing through something particularly thick, then I'll go up to a 3. There is a little sliding control on the side that allows you to sew at a different speed. High up there's a picture of a hare, and that's obviously fast, and low down a turtle, which is slow. This is actually to cut the threads when you sew. The best thing about this is it works every single time. I've had problems with sewing machines in the past where they only cut the thread when they want it to. Not reliable at all. I actually don't use this button. I set it up on my foot control, which is an option that you have, and the instructions are in the booklet that comes with it. So that if I press backwards on the foot, forward to sew, backwards on the back, that cuts the threads. So this is a needle position. This very big knob here, which I love how these knobs are really large and easy to use, is if you want to do 2 or 3 stitches backwards, let go and you go forwards again. Down here, this one lowers your feed foot. So if you're actually going to do some machine quilting, free motion quilting, you can turn this from one side to the other. When you click it, so the feed is down, you'll see the little metal parts go down, but when you click it back, you don't really see them go up. But the minute you put your fabric in to start stitching, they do pop back into place. The machine just has a normal kind of a style of threading, old-fashioned kind of a style. This is the tension control, and then there is a needle threader here. You put your thread through the hook and around and press this down and hook it under, let go, and it threads it. I'm actually reaching right over to do that, so I can't really show you it properly. When I first got this, I did have a hard time getting used to it. It does work really well. It's just a thing that you've just got to get the hang of it. So it takes a little bit of practice, and then once you've done that, it does work really well. This machine is different in that it has a bobbin that fits underneath in a case. So you have to lift this up. The bobbin is down here. I'll just pull it out so you can see. And then it's in its own little case, and can't get it to pop out, and it pops out of that. And it does come with a couple of spare bobbins. Then you would put it back in to rehouse it under the machine. It also comes automatically with this little extension table, which is great for sewing and quilting. I like that extra space that you have. Another item that it comes with, and which I actually don't use, is this knee function. So this actually, there's a little hole under there that it fits into, and it hangs over the edge of your table, and it lifts the foot. So you could just push it with your knee to one side, and that lifts and lowers the foot if you want it to. I do think it's a good idea. I just don't happen to use it. So the other attachments that came with it, it came with a zipper foot. It came with a free motion quilting foot. I use that a lot. It also came with a walking foot. So one of the things about this machine I like is that I've never actually had to use the walking foot, because there is a knob on the top of here, and if you turn that, it lowers or makes firmer the pressure on the fabric. And there's a little gauge here, so you turn that and you can see the little mark go up or down depending on how much the pressure is. So if you do it all the way to the top with no pressure, then I can put my binding on. I can even do some straight line quilting on there if I want to with that. And I just really like that feature. It's a really good idea. It also came with a big screwdriver and a little screwdriver, and that's for changing the needle, changing the foot. It takes this little plate off so that you can lift it out and clean a little bit underneath it. This is a mechanical machine and not a computerized machine, and so you do have to put oil in, and it did come with this little oil filler here. And there's a couple of places on the top and a couple of places here where you put the oil in. And in the instruction manual that comes with it, it does tell you just put in 1 drop at a time. It was a little bit unclear to me at first how often I should do that, but as I've used it as I've gone along, I've kind of got the hang of it. So it all depends, you know, on how much sewing you're actually doing. So this is a great machine. I did tell you that at the end I would tell you the 2 things that may dissuade you from buying it. So one thing is this machine does 1 stitch, and that's the straight stitch. There's no zigzag or any kind of embroidery patterns or any of those things on this. It's not that kind of a machine. So if you are wanting something that does all those things, then you would have to get a different one. What I do is I use this for absolutely everything that just uses straight stitch. I do have other machines, and if I want to do, say I'm going to do some machine applique on a quilt, I'll just get one of my other machines out. And you know, those other machines, they do all the straight stitching and everything as well, but they are not what I prefer to use. This one is the one that I like to use. It does such a good stitch, it's fast, it's easy to use, and I really like it. Another feature that I particularly like on this machine is that it came with this foot in place, and this is basically already a 1/4 inch foot. If you put your fabric under there, just with the very edge showing, you are sewing a 1/4 inch. You know, and you don't have to worry about changing anything. So on most machines, every time you get on the machine, you have to set it up for 1/4 inch. Even if you have a 1/4 inch foot on it, there are some settings that you have to do to make your sewing that size. And of course, for quilting, that's really important. And there are several times when I've started doing some quilting and then realized on other machines that I haven't set that up properly and had to do a lot of unpicking. So on this machine, that never happens. And then the last feature that may prove it not a suitable machine for you is this machine is semi-industrial and it's extremely heavy. So if you're looking for a machine that you want to pack up and take to sewing groups with you, then this is not the machine that you want to buy. I actually have a really small brother that I carry around with me too, things like that. So I would highly recommend this machine if you mostly do quilting. It's good for the actual quilting and it's good for the machine quilting. It has a pretty big opening here so that you can roll quite a bit of fabric in there for quilting. It's a great machine and I wanted to tell you about it.